With the help of Comfort Keepers, I'm keeping my mom healthy.
I'm keeping Dad on schedule.
I'm keeping my mom happy.
Comfort Keepers in-home professional caregivers can provide meal planning and preparation, health and wellness services, and personal care services through custom care plans that can change as needs change, so your aging loved ones can stay happy and healthy in their own home.
Comfort Keepers, keeping the comfort of home.
Our next guest today is Tricia Riordan. She is the Director of Community Relations for Comfort Keepers. Welcome, Tricia. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you for being here, and congratulations on a 12-year run with Comfort Keepers San Diego. That's very admirable in the home care industry, and you really must have seen and heard a lot. So given your background, we want to know, tell us about what is Comfort Keepers and what is home care all about today?
So home care is providing caregivers to stay in the home with our seniors or those people who are over 18 and unable to care for themselves. Our caregivers are able to do a variety of things for our seniors. They're doing anything from shower, dressing and grooming to preparing meals, medication reminders, light housekeeping, doing laundry and changing linens, transportation for doctor's appointments or running errands. Sometimes our clients are calling us kind of at the beginning stages where maybe they've just lost their driver's license and they may just need incidental transportation to grocery shop or a doctor's appointment. And sometimes it's somebody who maybe is rehabilitating. So sometimes we have, in home care, we have people that are just with us during that transition. So from hospital to rehabilitating to getting back on their own. So we may only have them for a brief period of time where we're able to do their PT exercises with them at home and get them back to their baseline. And then that's kind of their stay with us. And then some people we have long term.
Tricia, obviously the success of Comfort Keepers is well known, well known, and you've had lots of success stories over the years. Tell us one of your recent success stories.
That's a good question. Okay, so one of our most recent success stories actually was with a couple of clients that we had here in San Diego that were caught in a fire. Their house the house went on fire sometime that morning, and both of them were unaware that the house was on fire. And our caregiver just happened to get there 15 minutes early on this particular day. And she actually ran into the home, and one of our clients that had dementia was just in a complete daze and wasn't moving and was almost just right in front of the fire. So our caregiver grabbed her and got her out of the house, and then she went to the other client's room, and he was still sleeping. So she was able to get him out of the house. She was basically carrying them out of the house.
Dead weight, that's hard to do.
Yeah, and so I mean safely, because we do train our caregivers on how to do things safely, but you know, it was an emergency and it was about making sure our client is safe. And it was another incident, I think, in our office of thinking about, you know, what would that family have done if they didn't have Comfort Keepers or if there wasn't a caregiver? The pictures after were horrifying to see how much of the house was burnt, and clearly they wouldn't have been okay had our caregiver have not been there to save them. So it was a great feeling. We all were very proud of our caregiver and the fact that we were able to save two of our clients' lives.
It's an amazing story.
It really is.
Amazing story.
We're very proud of that.
So how did Comfort Keepers become the premier home care agency here in San Diego?
Well, basically, I think for us, we live up to a higher standard than other home care agencies. I mean, not to say anything bad about anybody else, but you know, our whole model, I think, is just different, Patty, than everybody else's. You know, typically when you look at home care, you're looking at a scheduling team and, you know, a kind of a pack of caregivers, and that scheduling team is then sending out caregivers to the home. But what happens if the caregiver calls off 15 minutes early because their car broke down? Which, you know, I could tell you personally happens all the time. We have an entire team. We have a client care team that is able to, you know, go fill in on that shift while our scheduling team is staffing somebody. And that client care team is also, they're the case managers. So they're out in the field, they're doing home visits, they're making sure that our caregivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing while they're in the house. And again, able to do these kind of emergency fill-ins so that our clients are never alone. So
that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it sounds like you really have checks and balances on the staff.
Yeah.
what do you look for? What qualities do you look for when you are bringing in caregivers at Comfort Keepers?
So first and foremost, Ron, we want to make sure that their background is clear. We do a very extensive background check on our caregivers. But I think what's more is that we're really looking for what we call the heart of a comfort keeper. Not everybody's meant to be a caregiver.
Well,
so,
I know that.
Yeah. So the great news is we kind of get to have this real personal week with them. We do a week-long training in our office where each of us are teaching a different class, and then some outside people also. But we get to really get hands-on with them and see if they really possess this skill level and see, you know, what their level of care and you know, for our clients is all about. So that's a great part for us in getting to know our caregivers prior to actually having them work with our client. And sometimes we might find that somebody's not, you know, not really a great fit. So that week is very important for us.
Patty,
That's awesome.
I know you've had to deal with it with your parents.
So if I were looking for a caregiver for a loved one and I were interviewing companies, what questions would I need to be asking?
So I think, Patty, you know, for me, I think in doing this, what's most important is looking at the caregivers and how the company are bringing those caregivers on and their training. Also, I think it's important to know about the client care team. Is there a client care model set up where there's going to be an extra set of eyes in the home to be able to make sure that the caregivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing? Those monthly visits are really important, the reassessments and seeing where, you know, where our seniors are and if things have changed. And so you do want to make sure that the client care people aren't just making phone calls from an office to check, you know, on your loved one, that they're able to go out.
Physically check.
Physically go out and check, yeah, because, you know, a phone call just isn't as good as a visit, and really being able to get eyes and ears on the situation. So that's super important.
And given, you know, your 12 years with the company, the number one thing that grabs me is that you're really making improvements in people's quality of life. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely, Ron. So I think definitely over the 12 years, being the caregiver and then also, you know, working as client care and being able to oversee the case, I've just seen amazing changes. I mean, we've come into somebody's life where, you know, there really was no quality of life. There's no family involved. You know, here's somebody that's, you know, not eating good, not getting up. And, you know, once they come onto service with Comfort Keepers, it's like, it's night and day. So here's, you know, they're eating healthy meals at home that the caregivers are preparing. They're not just popping something in the microwave that's got really high sodium and, you know, causing all kinds of other problems. You know, our caregivers are making sure that their overall care is really, really well, and that they're showering and that they're grooming and that they're getting them out. So, you know, doing the things they used to enjoy, whether it's going to the beach or, you know, brunch on Sunday or church or whatever it is that they used to do. Our job is to be able to stimulate their life and bring that quality back. And so many times that's exactly, you know, what happens. And so it's been a pleasure doing what we do, just because we've been able to change so many lives.
Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing about Comfort Keepers and about your journey in 12 years with Comfort Keepers and really the amazing quality of life enhancements you're bringing to the people here in San Diego and beyond in Riverside County as well. And we know it's a challenge. I mean, you're dealing with aging adults who feel they don't need help many times but really do. And then the family members the children of those aging adults who have their issues or their agendas as well. So you really are much more than home care. You're a home psychologist as well. And it's a really challenging work, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. So thank you for enhancing people's quality of life. So Patty, last thoughts?
Well, as we close, with all of your years of experience, you must have a great story that we could close with.
You know, Patty, that's a good point, and I actually do. I think the best experience I had working for Comfort Keepers is when I was actually a caregiver. So I had a very nice patient. She was fairly young, and she had a stage 4 cancer, brain cancer. And I kind of started out with her in the beginning of her journey, and being able to walk with her through that entire journey from kind of the beginning of the illness until the end, and how much that I was actually able to do for her and how much quality of life. I made her a promise that I would take her to the beach every day until the day it was, so I made sure that I did that with her. And you know, so many things kind of go through your mind in terms of what would her life have been like, you know, without that care. And it's something that still touches my heart, because I was very close with her, and being able to be with her even up until her last days and really take the best care of her that I possibly could it's very, 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 very touching, and I'm very proud.
And rewarding.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I love what I do, and I love being able to be in the position I'm in now, because I understand what it's like to be the caregiver and the quality that Comfort Keepers brings. I lived up to those expectations as a caregiver, so.
Well, good for you, and
That's
that's
awesome.
a very
Thank
great
you.
story
That's a great
for sharing
story.
that story. So thank you for being here today. Stick around next time for more Senior Stay or Go TV.